today, so
Hello.
Me being pale. Hello.
I'm pale too. Hello.
Impalers.
I'm Shyla.
I'm Sarah.
This is Father, Son, and the Holy Sisters. Taking back the Trinity.
The Holy Trinity.
Oh. Taking back the Holy Trinity. Why do I feel like we look so tiny compared to our...
Because they're like twice the size of us.
Yeah. We got a new background.
Yeah.
We haven't used it yet.
Courtesy of our sister and her husband.
Yep.
Now we have no head or no body.
There we go. Okay.
That's good.
It's been a bit, I feel like, since we recorded. Yeah. I mean, we came out with episodes, but we haven't recorded in like quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. We had some pre-recorded episodes, so...
Yeah. We've just been having a lot going on lately with family stuff and just life, being sick. I feel like I've been sick so much lately, and
yeah,
it's been a rough month for us.
It has.
March has been pretty rough.
Yeah, it's been pretty shite.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
If you guys are watching YouTube and you're seeing our background here, I'm on Sarah's side. So this is Sarah, and that's me,
I'm
Shyla.
over there.
So we're kind of switched a little bit, but...
For technical reasons.
Yeah. And we got hoodies with our picture on it, too. Yes. So if anyone ever wants one of those, let us know. If we have a super fan out there somewhere, send us an email. We'll send you one.
Yes.
Well, this week we are talking about vampires. I love vampires.
I do too.
I think they're so cool, but I feel like that's a girl thing. Like, every girl just wants to be like swept up by a creepy vampire guy or something, or be turned into a vampire or something. Like, it's just, I don't know.
A mysterious, handsome man.
I mean, maybe it's some guys too. It might not just be a girl thing.
Right.
Who knows? But we're just gonna probably have a few episodes.
Yeah, we've got a few
on
ideas.
Vampires. Nothing is in like any sort of order or anything. We're just gonna kind of throw out what we want to talk about that week. This week we're gonna talk about some like old records that have been recorded of vampires. So that will be exciting. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to share before we get started? There isn't much change for me.
Yeah, me neither. Oh my god, you're suffocating her.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I gotta put her up top so people can see her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into like old records of vampires. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to, or?
I don't care.
I mean, I can go first.
Sure.
So we're gonna go with, and obviously there's way newer, records and things of vampires, but these are just like from the late 1800s and then before. So these records are gonna go all the way to 1500 BC, circa 1500 BC. So like thousands and thousands of years ago.
3,500 years ago.
So this is stuff from a really long freaking time ago. But to start off, so there's 8 of them, and I'll link the website that we got this information from too, if you want to like read it on your own time. But so this is number 8, and this is the case of Mercy Lena Brown. So this location was in the United States, and this was from 1892. So in New England, the 1800s was a time of progress and superstition. The two ideologies clashed in the middle. The source of the confusion was the widespread panic caused by a contagious disease, which, as we'll see in the list, frequently had a hand in creating the vampiric legends. So the specific disease has a lot of cases where people thought they were vampires, but it was just this disease. In this case, the place was Rhode Island. The disease, tuberculosis. Yes, tuberculosis was not a fun way to go.
Yeah.
Also called TB or consumption, which I didn't know it was called consumption.
Mm-hmm.
Tuberculosis is a bacterial ailment of the lungs that attacks and damages the whole body. People who suffer from it expel blood as well as the disease when they talk or cough. So literally just being around someone, like when they're talking to you with it.
Good old TB.
Yeah. And now to Mercy Brown, scared that his son suffered from vampirism, which had already killed his wife and daughter. So he thought his wife and daughter were killed from vampirism. George Brown exhumed the corpse of his daughter Mercy to examine it. Suspicious town people removed her heart and burned it on a pile of rocks. Wait, hold on.
What?
Oh, hold on. Let me go back. Sorry. Now to Mercy Lena Brown, scared that his son suffered from vampirism, which has already killed his wife and daughter. George Brown exhumed the corpse of his daughter, Mercy, to examine it. Suspicious townspeople... See, that's why I'm confused.
Why?
Because it says now Mercy Brown scared that his son... And it says his daughter, Mercy. What?
Well, now to Mercy Brown. Like, now the disease has gone to her.
Yeah, but scared that his son... Who's his son?
Scared that his son suffered from vampirism.
Who's him, though?
Just listen. Scared that his son suffered from vampirism, which had already killed his wife and daughter. George Brown exhumed the corpse of his daughter, Mercy, to examine it. So they started with the pronoun first, and then the proper noun, or
Oh,
whatever.
okay. Let me just put George Brown, like, in front of it.
Okay.
So, now to Mercy Lena Brown. George Brown was scared that his... Oh, my God.
Okay. Just say, now George Brown scared that his son... You just say, now George Brown scared
Okay.
that his son suffered from vampirism.
Okay. So
He
now...
exhumed it.
Yeah. So now, George Brown, scared that his son suffered from vampirism, which had already killed his wife and daughter, he exhumed the corpse of his daughter, Mercy Lena Brown, and examined it.
Okay.
I'm just having a rough time today.
Yeah.
So suspicious town people removed her heart, his daughter's heart, Mercy, and burned it on a pile of rocks and used the ashes to create a potion and administered it to others who were sick with tuberculosis, which at the time they thought they were vampires. So they thought they would burn this vampire's heart and create a potion with it and give it to people. This was fucking witchcraft. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh my God, don't ever do that.
Oh my God.
Don't do this at home, kids. And did you know, unlike many diseases mentioned in history textbooks, tuberculosis is still scarily prevalent in the modern, undeveloped world. 2 billion people per year still come down with the consumption due to low standards of sanitation and nutrition in certain areas, particularly in Africa and Asian isles. So it's still around, and obviously through time and medicine, people have figured out that it is a disease and they're not vampires. So that was the first, last known
Most recent
most
from-
recent, starting 1900s and back.
Yeah. 1800s.
Or 1800s,
So-
yeah.
And then the next one, The Vampire. Location, England, year 1819. So this is about a famous storytelling contest. John Polidori was in attendance at a famous story contest held in Lord Byron's villa in 1816. Those in attendance were challenged to create a ghost story. Polidori's story was called The Vampire with a Y. Oops, sorry. And it is known as the cornerstone of modern romantic vampire fiction. Yes, before Dracula was even a whisper in the mind of the yet to be born Bram Stoker. The first Twilight book was already written.
Before, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Which Bram Stoker's Dracula was written in 1890s, right?
I think so.
1895 or 93 or something like that.
Yeah. So, not too long ago. The story is about a couple madly in love who are unfortunately attacked on the road. The man, Ruthven, is killed, taking a year-long vow of silence. The girl, Aubrey, mourns his death until finding him alive and well in London. She not only dies a tragic lover's death, but the vampire then marries her sister and drains her blood. We should read that.
Yeah, we should get into that one too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did you know, though Mary Godwin could not think of a story for a while, she also wrote a now famous tale at Lord Byron's Ghost Story Contest. The story was called Frankenstein. Later, Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So this was at a storytelling contest.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. Which, like, where do you just come up with a story about, like, you know,
right.
a lover dying and then finds out that her lover's not dead? Like, that's textbook vampire right there. You know? Or did he, like, fake his death and then run away with her sister? Like, what? So the next one is the vampire graves in Bulgaria in the 1700s.
I feel like, okay, sorry to pause, but I feel like Bulgaria and Romania and, like, you know, that area is such a hot spot for vampire mythology and folklore.
Very big. We definitely should have, like, a whole episode about, like, Bulgarian myths just in general.
Yes.
So in Bulgaria, near the Red Sea, researchers in 2004, not even long ago, 20 years ago, not even, discovered 700-year-old skeletons in a burial site east of the town of Debelt. And I'm sorry, if we're pronouncing literally anything wrong.
So sorry.
Americans don't know how to pronounce shit, so
yeah.
Sorry. They theorized that similar rituals had been practiced for a long time, both in Bulgaria and Serbia.
Serbia.
Oh my god, Serbia. But also throughout the Balkan religions. So literally 700... Oh, the Balkan religions. Excuse me. Today is not my day, okay? Like,
we haven't recorded in a hot minute.
I know.
So we just gotta...
I know.
Get the ball rolling.
So 700 skeletons were found in 2004. The skeletons were pierced straight through the chest with iron rods. Researchers believed that these and the 100 or so other vampire skeletons are evidence of regional superstitions related to vampires. The rods kept the bodies in their graves, they believed, unable to rise and take new victims. So they thought if they buried these people like this, that they wouldn't be able to come back to life. The skeletons also had their teeth removed, presumably so that even if they did escape, they could not bite anyone anymore.
Oh my lordy.
And did you know that the Bulgarian vampire myths that these skeletons represent are a direct inspiration for Bram Stoker's novel Dracula in 1897? I was close, 97. Though the story takes place in Romania, in the region known as Transylvania now, it borders Bulgaria and was an easy transfer of shared cultural lore. Which, is that what did you say you thought it was based off of?
Vlad the Impaler.
Where was that from?
Romania. He was a Romanian.
I bet all of
emperor,
this connects.
Or king or whatever.
With the Bulgarian, 700 burial site and everything.
I'm sure, I mean...
We definitely need to get into Bulgaria and just all the Balkan type of myths for sure. Sorry if she pronounces this next one wrong.
Give me the difficult one.
I looked it up and it's Manananggal.
Manananggal.
And that's probably still wrong. So
I apologize. From the Philippines in 1589. The Manananggal, that is now well known as a potential mythological precursor to the modern vampire. They have bat-like wings, fangs, and devastating claws.
Have you seen pictures of them?
No.
You haven't heard of the Manananggal before?
I mean, maybe I have.
Look up real quick.
Okay, yeah, I know what these are. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like a weird half bat vampire human creature.
Mananangals are female. They have the power to separate their upper and lower bodies. The upper flies into the night in search of human prey. The Mananangal, their favorite victims are pregnant women, whom the creature invades with its long tongue to suck the blood and heart from the unborn baby. Legends were grislier back then. That's sad.
Yeah, like what?
Gosh, lady.
Ew, I don't even want to think about them.
Another connection to vampire lore is that the creature fears crushed garlic, salt, and ash, which prevent it from being able to reconnect to its lower body.
Which,
yeah,
there's a lot of vampire lore with all that.
Yes. Our written accounts of the creature in folklore date back to 1589, and the accounts of Juan de Plasencia,
yeah.
I'm sorry, in his Customs of the Tagalogs. The actual legends of the creature among the people who invented it, however, are much older.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know the Austronesian language Tagalog provides the word tangle, from which the creature's name is based on? This means separator, or to separate, and refers to the creature's unique ability to split its body in half in search for prey.
Wow. So I wonder when it splits. Like, we should definitely research it more. Yeah. Or maybe you know, since you heard a podcast about it, but like when it splits, you know, one to go search into the night for human prey, is that the bat-like part that disconnects and then like the human part is walking around as a human or something? Because doesn't it look like the lower half is like a human and it's like a bat head and stuff or something? I'm pretty sure when I looked it up.
Well, it definitely is like a female vampire with bat wings and like claws.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. I love different cultures, folklore, and how so many cultures are connected in their folklore, and just like, but the difference is due to the location, and I love it.
Yeah, and like a lot of times people will say like, oh, like, you know, vampire lore is just passed down from like tuberculosis or porphyria, which is what I'm going to read next, and it's like, I get that, but this one
predates that.
It predates that, but also, well, not porphyria. It doesn't predate that, but in what way would you connect a disease with a mononongal that has wings and, like, legit, like, flies off? Like, that, I don't see a connection that would be with, like, a disease to look like that. Because, like, same with werewolves. There's, like, a disease that you, like, literally grow hair all over your body. Well, I don't know if it's a disease. Sorry, I don't know what it is. But I've read up on it before that a lot of, like, werewolves were passed down because of that, like, just having hair all over. Mm-hmm. So it's like, people are like, oh, you know, vampires passed down with that, and, like, tuberculosis and a disease, and people just thought that's what they were. And it's like, okay, but not this, bitch, what?
Right.
Please tell me a connection with this flying
Where do the dots
creature.
connect?
Right, because that don't connect nowhere. No. There's no connection to tuberculosis and that, so.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so the next one is porphyria. I think that's how you pronounce it. This was in Europe in the 1600s, so this is all about the medical, like, superstitions about and vampires connected. While not a single, and it says 1600s, which I guess the mononongal was before that, but, like, there's probably been porphyria before this too, that they didn't even, you know, figure out what it was. Mm-hmm. While not a single historical vampire, but rather a blood disorder. So I guess, yeah, blood disorder, porphyria. The ailment intersects with vampire folklore in interesting ways, which this one's crazy. Porphyrin created, among other symptoms, rashes, red urine, pain, hallucinations, disorientation, and light sensitivity. You get all of that from this blood disorder. Right. Do you see where this is going, kind of? Like, people suffering from porphyria, particularly in the Middle Ages, when treatment was scarce. You know, they didn't have medical treatment for this.
Right.
And understanding, like, someone understanding what you're going through at that time, that's even more scarcer.
Right.
And it may have created the behavioral archetype of the modern vampire. This included their disoriented mental state, hallucinatory rantings, and their pain. So, like, they could probably be ranting about, like, oh my god, I'm so thirsty, the light, you know, you're hallucinating from this blood disorder. They blistered, even leading to harsh burns when exposed to direct sunlight.
Oh my gosh.
Like, do you see where all this stuff
Yeah.
came from? They're literally blistering in the sun.
That's a vampire. if I've
Yeah.
ever seen one.
Like, is it really porphyria, or are you just a vampire? Cause
kind of hard to tell at this point.
Right. The sensitivity was so severe that some victims even lost their noses and ears, leading to demonic appearances.
Shut up.
Yeah. And also another symptom of porphyria is receding gum tissue. This, on top of everything else, might give sufferers and severe porphyria the appearance of having long, like, you know, your canine teeth.
Yeah.
If your gums are receding there.
Okay.
So literally, when I read this,
Everything.
I'm like, that's literally vampires. And then I was also reading up more on porphyria, and I'm pretty sure garlic was in there somewhere. Like, they were sensitive to it, or like couldn't eat garlic, or had like allergic reaction or something to garlic when I was reading more into porphyria too. So okay, we've officially came up with a name for our Victorian doll. It is Doris, after
Our sweet
our sweet mother. That's her nickname.
That's her real name.
Yeah, her real name is Doris.
Yeah.
After her mom.
Doris.
Doris.
Okay. She was probably mad at us because we haven't given her a name. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Doris.
Sorry.
That's your name now.
Yeah.
Doris.
It's a beautiful name. Okay. Number 3, Venice vampire. Obviously in Italy in 1576. Early archaeological evidence of a vampire. The plague hit Venice, Italy hard in the 1500s, partly...
Wait, you worded that.
What do you mean?
The plague hit Venice, Italy hard in the 1500s.
I guess I did, didn't I?
Yeah, the plague
Okay.
hit Venice, Italy. It sounded weird.
Yeah,
Why
I
is
did.
the sun, like, hitting my face like that?
Because you're a sun goddess. You're Alina. Alina Starkov. You need to watch Shadow and Bone.
I know.
Okay. The plague hit Venice, Italy hard in the...
Am I gonna have to edit out another 20, 30 minutes of you laughing again?
No. The plague hit Venice, Italy hard in the 1500s, partly owing to the... Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Sorry. Take a deep breath. Where's my sage?
The plague hit Italy hard in the 1500s, partly owing to the close quarters of the city's construction, partly its popularity as a center of trade, and partly because it was the plague. There's a lot of partlies. However, one of its interesting artifacts feeds directly into the timeline of vampire mythology, with this Venetian woman whose grave was uncovered in 2006.
Which, that was not long ago.
Wow.
Not even 20 years ago.
Right. In a mass grave of plague victims, one particular skeleton stood out. A brick had been jammed directly through her teeth and into her jaw. What? What?
A brick
Yeah.
had been jammed. Oh my god. That's a sight.
Yeah. Imagine uncovering that.
Right. Just a brick through a skeleton's mouth.
Yee. This was a known custom of vampire exorcism in Europe at the time. Okay. While some researchers believe that the brick fell in after the burial, others, such as the excavator Matteo Borini, confidently pointed to it as early archaeological evidence of a confirmed vampire.
Oh my god, think about being that excavator and uncovering that.
That would be quite
Do you know Venice is underwater right now?
Completely?
Not completely, but like it will be one day. Like,
Well,
the whole
yeah.
city. But like it's like flooded. The whole city's flooded right now. Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
Things you don't hear on the news.
Yeah.
Did you know many people in the Middle Ages believed that the plague was started and spread by vampires? That doesn't
The plague
surprise
was
me.
vampires, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't believe they sucked people's blood, but instead that they chewed the shrouds of dying people to spread their illness. Ew.
So like a zombie.
Bricks were sometimes jammed into the jaws of corpse to prevent them from rising and doing this again. Oh my lordy.
So did they shove a brick in the person to kill him, or did they kill him and then shove the brick in the person's mouth?
I'm sure they died from the plague, and then they shoved the brick in their mouth so they
Okay.
wouldn't rise as a vampire and continue spreading
Because
the
they
plague.
probably thought that, like, after someone died from the plague, that's the people that were going around spreading it like a
Right.
vampire. Oh my god. Imagine living in these times.
That'd be terrible.
Oh my
I
god.
would not want to
Yeah.
live during that time.
So that was 1576. Now this next one is 40 BC, and it's about Lilith, which we have talked about Lilith, and we still need to do a whole ass episode on Lilith and all the mythology surrounding her and history. And she is, oh my god, she's in so many, I like deep dived this, she's in so many different parts of the world, and like it all leads back to Lilith, like so many different versions of her all over the place. So for 40 BC in Israel, in Jewish folklore, as old as the 2,000 years ago or more, Lilith is a fascinating figure. In some texts, such as Alphabet of Sirach, written around 800 AD, and the Dead Sea Scrolls dated around 40 BC. Lilith is the first wife of Adam before Eve. She was created simultaneously with him, from the same mortal clay, as opposed to Eve, who was created later with Adam's rib. During the Middle Ages, the legend of Lilith continued to grow, detailing how she not only refused to be Adam's subservient, but also how she left Eden, got in good with Samael, an archangel, which we did touch about Lilith. Was it
It was about demons.
Yeah, our demon episode, yeah.
We did briefly.
Yeah. And we were like, yeah, that bitch don't want no man to tell her what to do. Like,
No, girl. That's some femininity power.
Right.
there.
And they don't want to say that she was the first woman on Earth, because that would mean that there was a powerful woman and not a woman
equal to
made,
Adam.
Right. And not a woman made from Adam.
Right.
Her name in ancient Babylonian, a name for female demons and spirits. They believed that she remembered being human and still snuck into houses and victimized wives, then taking their place, which also she is said to take babies and drink their blood. Did you know the Hebrew term Lilith means night creature or night monster, while she has long been considered a hag and witch, even showing up as the first vampire in the True Blood series. She's now also a feminist icon. Yes, bitch!
Yes.
Let's go! The Jewish American magazine, aptly named Lilith, considers her as an ancient, feisty, but misunderstood lady. She's so misunderstood.
Yeah.
Like the most misunderstood woman in history.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, go, bitch.
Yeah.
You're awesome,
Seriously.
Lilith.
Oh my god. All right.
It's crazy.
Number 1, Sekhmet.
The oldest. Well, it's believed to be the oldest.
Which we have a story to tell you about her, okay?
Yeah.
So, location is Egypt, 1500 BC. So that's 3,500 years ago, you guys.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Being the oldest vampiric deity, the oldest vampire is Sekhmet. She was a warrior goddess in ancient Egypt, though the term vampire would not have been used. This feline monster lady fits the bill, and historians often consider her to be the first ancient vampire tale. Sekhmet was not only a warrior goddess, but a god of death and healing as well, the combination creating a definite feeling of similarity with vampire folklore. eternal death and eternal life at the same
Yeah.
time. I mean, that makes sense. Like, you gotta have life and death.
Yeah.
Her father, the sun god Ra, sent Sekhmet to punish mankind for their unfaithful, disobedient habits by slaughtering them. As she killed people, Sekhmet drank human blood to give herself power. Did you know Ra dyed a huge amount of beer red and tricked Sekhmet into drinking it to quell her bloodlust? Despite this, her full title in ancient Egyptian has been translated to Lady of Slaughter, as well as one before whom evil trembles.
Which I think she's also a misunderstood
Yeah.
lady as well.
Yeah. Me too.
But I have one more that I wanted to read. Can you... Because I totally forgot. It has to do with Apollo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Shyla recently came across a video on TikTok, and it was an archaeologist. Or, was she an archaeologist or just like a...
No, she was just a lady that
Okay.
was traveling in
Yeah.
Egypt
So, a lady...
with photographers.
Right, with photographers went to... is this at the pyramids in Egypt? Or just a tomb?
So she went to the pyramids, but then you have to like pay big money to go to Sekhmet's
Yeah.
tomb itself. And it's in a very dark
Yeah.
room.
Enclosed with just a little hole above
Yeah.
her to let sunlight in. That's the only way you can see her. But yeah, and people were like taking pictures, and like it was blurry with like a professional camera. Like it looked like you had overexposed the photo and like you were moving as like you took the photo.
Yeah.
And then another person took a photo with a professional camera that worked, that they took other pictures, just not in her tomb, but at the same location, and they were perfect pictures. But in her tomb, there was like a figure of like someone standing next to the statue, and
Oh, I just got the chills.
when one of the attendees there at the tomb seen it, he like mentioned how it looked exactly like another
Egyptian
yeah,
god or something.
someone,
Pharaoh, maybe.
yeah,
I don't know.
on like hieroglyph in this place, and like how he looked exactly like in the hieroglyph as did in the picture. Like,
Yeah.
crazy.
We can link the TikTok.
Yeah.
But there was also where people were taking photos with their iPhone.
Yeah.
And without the flash, Sekhmet showed up the statue of her. But then
with
the flash, it was just a white flash. And also
And-
the locations.
yeah,
It was
were
a completely
different.
different location when someone took a picture with their flash on
Yeah.
than without. And it was the same exact timestamp, because on Apple it shows the location and the time you took the picture, and it was same
Seconds
time.
apart.
Yeah, seconds apart.
Yeah.
Same time, but different pictures.
Locations.
Different, yeah.
Like one was at the Nile with the flash, and the one
Yeah.
without the flash was in the tomb.
Yeah.
Like what?
That's crazy.
She's so powerful, and like
yeah.
just a bunch of things. Like she gave off electromagnetic energy, and like when the person who made the TikTok walked in there, she could feel like a piercing like behind her neck, and then like chills like down
Yeah.
her body, and like, oh, it's amazing.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
I can
So-
imagine like feeling all the energy in her tomb and like
That'd be crazy.
because it's not open to the public, and she said it was like away from all the other like
Right.
touristy areas. Like it wasn't by like the touristy pyramids and everything. It was like in a totally different area, and she had to be like pay a bunch of money and be brought there, and like I don't know, that's
I don't mess with that stuff. I mean, let them rest.
yeah.
Let the Egyptian
I'm sure she doesn't want people in there, and that's why she was probably messing with the photos and stuff.
right, like
Just
leave
let
me
her
alone.
rest in
Right.
peace. Like I don't know, that's freaking crazy.
Ooh, yeah, that's wild. So I had to mention that since Sekhmet was in these vampire.
Yeah. Okay, so this is... Okay, it's not actually too long. I'm just going to read this quick because this is the histories of vampires in ancient Greek mythology, actually, because this wasn't mentioned in everything we just read. So this is about Apollo. So, despite being one of the oldest and most prevalent creatures in the world of mythology, the origin of vampires has remained unknown for thousands of years. It wasn't until more recently that we were given a glimpse into early vampire history. So, according to legend, all began in Mediterranean. The first vampire started out as not a vampire at all, but as a human named Ambrosio, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He was an Italian-born adventurer whose fate brought to Delphi in Greece. So specifically, it began with the sun god Apollo, who, in a fit of rage, cursed Ambrosio so that his skin would burn should it ever touch sunlight again. Ambrosio's bad luck followed when he ended up gambling his soul to Hades, the god of the underworld. The next curse came via Apollo's sister, Artemis, which is the goddess of the moon and hunting, which you love Artemis.
I do.
Artemis is badass.
Yes.
Who made it so that Ambrosio's skin would burn off if he touched silver. The blessings came soon after when Artemis, taking pity on the poor young man, gave him the gift of immortality. He would carry his curses, his skin burning by sunlight or silver, but he would live forever in his current form. Not only that, but Artemis also gave him the speed and strength to become a hunter whose skills were second only to her own. A hunter.
What?
Right.
Dude, this is
literally
crazy.
The moon and hunter, like Artemis.
Yeah.
Blood sucking, which, by the way, is called hematophagy. Hematophagy, whatever. In case you were curious, so that's the actual name for drinking blood. Is also included in his blessing. In the vampire origin story, Ambrosio hunts swans and uses their blood as ink to write love poems to his lady Selene. While this may be considered a little creepy by our standards, it wasn't at all that unusual in ancient Greece to do with what you hunted, which, that's true. Ambrosio later moved back to Italy, now as a full-fledged vampire. Legend traces him to the city of Florence, where he creates the first vampire clan. We don't know a whole lot about his clan, other than that they were more likely willing volunteers, humans who wanted the power and immortality and were willing to trade their souls for it. It was believed that the curse would continue for any vampire where their souls would remain in the underworld, which Hades place, aka hell, where they could return to claim them, but then they could never leave. From what we know of this history of vampires, the clan grew in size and strength until infighting created something of a civil war with the clan, and many vampires left to form their own clans. What happened to Ambrosio and those who stayed with him is largely unknown, though many believe that he still resides somewhere in Florence.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're like real big vampire fiction fans. Have you seen True Blood?
Yeah, I have.
Like you watched the whole thing? Because I haven't watched it.
Season...
How many seasons is there?
5? There's 6 or 7.
Oh.
But up until season 5, it just kind of like went downhill. And I stopped watching. But it's a good show.
Do you remember
cheesy, but it's
what
good.
talked about True Blood in here? But yeah, we're huge Vampire Diary fans and Twilight fans. I would love to one day go to Forks, Washington. I would love that.
Yes.
And then also go to why can't I think of the town name? Mystic Falls.
Oh yeah.
But where is it really though?
Let me look it up.
I would really like to go there one day because they have like the where did they always go out to eat? In Vampire Diaries?
Something bar and grill.
Mystic Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
I literally
Mystic Falls. Duh.
Yeah. I have literally seen Vampire Diaries like 6 times.
I know.
And now I want to watch it again. Like I love Vampire Diaries so much. Like it's such a good show.
Georgia?
Okay, yeah. I knew it was down there somewhere.
Yeah, we need to go there and stay and like you can see their houses and go in the bar and grill and
See
like
the clothes that they wore
Yeah.
and like all that stuff.
Yeah. There's like hotel like themed there. And I'm like, I need to go.
And did you know Paul Wesley and Ian Somerhalder made a
bourbon?
Yeah. And I don't like liquor, and I specifically hate bourbon. but I want to buy it and just never open it and never drink it, because what if one day that's fucking worth something?
Right.
Who knows?
That's true. It could be.
Probably not, but it would be cool to actually just try it too. But I think that's all we have. I think that's all
everything.
We have for this week. So we love you guys.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe,
Share
all over the place, please. We have a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anything else? We don't have a Twitter.
No.
We have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yeah.
We're on literally all platforms. So
email us if you have a story that you want to tell.
Send in some stories.
Yeah. Or if you have suggestions, what you want to hear next.
You can message
from
us on Facebook too.
Yeah. That
Or
too,
probably
whichever is
Instagram. I think we have our
easiest.
messages open on Instagram
Yeah.
too. So
We're not as active on there as we are as on Facebook,
Yeah.
but we will still get it.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I love you guys.
Hope you enjoyed.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.